have never seen before. There is nothing like it anywhere in the world. There are websites galore. This is not a website. This is something completely different. Can I please ask anyone who is from a venue, don't be shy, you know, it doesn't matter, you can come here. It's only so you can see exactly what's going on. We can't put the screen anywhere else. And I would like to introduce my partner and my business partner, Mr. Neil Waring, and he will explain and demonstrate the software. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, this is unusual. I don't normally carry the mic. No, thank you very much. Right. Well, thank you very much for all coming along. Some faces I know, some voices I know, but this is something you do not know. What we have on screen at the moment is just our basic website, because I thought it'd be a good idea to show you what our system is not. Everybody seems to have this idea that what we've got is just another run-of-the-mill website, but we don't. James is operating the computer. He's been involved in some of the development and research on the system as well with me. And he'll now change over to the Artist software and we can start telling you what it's about. Now, unlike other methods of booking artists on the net, where you go to a website, you look at artists, it doesn't actually tell you whether they're available. Now, I saw about 5-6 months ago, there was a problem. I've been writing software for 25 years, so I've got a good understanding of how people think when they're trying to get to the product. And the product here are these amazing performers, artists, acts, whatever you want to call them, that need to be contacted. So I got to thinking and came up with the idea of having an artist diary online and a piece of software for the venue to search through for those artists. But the difference with our system is our system allows the artist to actually block out parts of the diary when they're not available, or if they've already got bookings in the system, to actually put the bookings in so that they won't get selected. So as a venue searching for people, you only get presented what's available. So the idea being is don't leave, I will get used to moving the mic. The idea is don't leave it to the last minute to get your bookings. Get the bookings in early by looking ahead in the future. And as I'll demonstrate, the system copes with it all. So what we have here first of all, which is what we're showing you at the moment, is the Artist software. The continual refresh is it updating from the servers, so don't worry if it flickers while we're working. But James will start and lead through. We have over on the panel on the side there, methods of moving through the diary. Last week, 1 day back, going to today, 1 day forward, 1 week forward. We can also pick a date. So James could, if he wanted, to pick any date on the system, but we're going to stay on this for the purpose of the demonstration tonight. We can also edit the details. Now, bearing in mind what you're looking at now is the artist system. This isn't the venue, this is what the artist does to set themselves up on the system. We can also reserve time slots in the diary. We have lots of prompts and things that will appear. We can also print the artist poster. But the thing we'd like to go into first of all is editing the artist details. Now, these are the basic details that the artist has to put in. Now, on other websites, it's exactly the same. They've still got to fill some information in, but on our system it works slightly differently. So what we have is the obvious buttons that you get. You need to save details when you're finished, adding promotion pictures, adding video links, showing the artist what the venue sees, sort of like a sneak preview. And we can also send suggestions or faults back to any one of the development team. Now, whether that's myself, James, Danny, any of the people that's working on the system, we can actually get a message from you to us. If something's wrong, we can fix it. And I think at last count we're on version 14, that's from the 4th of December. So we are listening to everybody. If there's been a fault, or there's been anything that wants changing or adding, we are adding it in, we're listening. So James is currently on the main details, and I don't propose to go through all these because you've all seen these on the net and on programs, it's standard items. But some of the things you won't have, we've got notes and photo, me, can you tell? This is where the artist would key in any information about them that they want to promote to the venue. So when the venue is searching, they will see bits about them. Now we can move on. Basic telephone details. Our system allows the venue to send a message to the mobile phone of the artist. Now that, as far as I know, and we've searched, can't be done anywhere else. This is something that we've developed. So the artist can put in their mobile number. That's our test number at the moment. If we move on, we have links. This is, again, we're all about promoting the artist to the venue directly. So lots of you have got videos actually on the net, whether it be on YouTube or your own personal web spaces, it doesn't matter where it is. you can put a link in. Now, I will demonstrate that in a second. I'd just like to skip through these. This is where we tell the system, again, what sort of styles they do. Now, we've set my particular character up as the Book Me Directly demo, because we've set this up specifically tonight. The whole system tonight has booked all the artists, so the system works, we're using it ourselves. Now, we could have picked different styles, but these are the categories that are actually in the system for people to pick from. And on here, I've actually said there's so many styles available, and there's also styles to do, so I'm doing the demonstration, but if it was a real system, that would be things you could pick from. We also have auto-accept rules. Now this is a bit like a personal assistant for the system. Again, as far as we know, if anybody wants to put their hand up and tell us they're on a system like it, by all means, but we haven't found anything like this. Now, based on what we've spoken to artists, you all do 1, 2, 3, 4, however many spots it might be. And we decided to break it down and put in a minimum figure that they're looking for. Now, it's not a price list. It's not a must-have, that's it. It's a method of telling the computer system that if I was to be offered £100 for one spot within the first 20-mile radius, the computer will take it. It'll take the booking. So the venue books the artist immediately. It's instant. There's no messing around, there's no telephone calls. It just does it. And it's because of that one tick in the very first column under auto-accept. I've told it that if somebody offered me any of those figures, and the amount is right, the booking is made. So there's no lengthy telephone calls, it can be done instantly. On payment in bits, again, some very basic things, with one rather large exception. We actually ask the system to put in who they want the cheque mail to. That will become clear why after. Now James is just going to demonstrate now how an artist may want to put a link on. All we're actually going to do is put a link in to Book Me Directly. So he's already filled these in. He titles it, he puts the link in, which could be anything. We put an example up there of a YouTube link. And again, when we go to the venue software, you'll see why. So he saves that link into the system. Now to test it, to make sure it's actually working, what he'll do is he'll just create a double click on that link and it will take him to the internet. Whatever browser you're using, it's not our browsers, not built in, it just goes to whatever you're using. It's to try and make it as simple as possible. And that's taking him straight to the Book Me Directly page. Now that could be playing music, videos, doesn't matter. But the venue will see that. Thank you, James. We have a little bit of a delay. We'll close that screen, thank you. Right, now we're going to get on to how the artist actually fills in the diary, but at the moment we stick with reserving a time slot, because sometimes you're not available. It could be just that you're working, it could be the dentist's appointment, pick the kids up from the school, it doesn't matter what it is, it could be absolutely anything. But we tell the system that you're not available. So what James is going to do now, is he's going to reserve a time slot in the diary. There we go. Now he's reserved one time slot for Thursday the 1st of March. The rest of these bits and pieces were us testing. We have done so many tests before getting here tonight because I didn't want it to trip me up with any surprises. But James has reserved a time slot there. Now what he can do is he can stretch the time slot or move it around, whichever one he takes his fancy. That's it. So he's changed now reserved from the 1st of March at 4 o'clock to 10:30. So he can stretch it back. He can also, if you put it in the wrong place, but not before today, James. I'll explain that why I won't do that in a second. So he's moved the time slot now to Friday the 2nd of March, and he can also, if it's one that's repeated, he can duplicate it. Now the reason why we reserve time slots is because when the venue software searches for an artist, if you've reserved it, you don't show up. So the venue is being presented with accurate information of who is available. So what James is going to do now is you're going to go into this. Any item you double click on brings up a panel. This is the event information page. Now James, we're not going to use them, so he's going to remove the reserve time from the diary. And the same for that one. That's it. And we also have, because people need to promote themselves, artist posters. So what James is going to bring up there, we just have the one at the moment, but the idea being after tonight we'll have more and more input and we can get whatever designs are wanted into the system. But at the moment it basically takes two pieces of information, artist name and the actual poster, prints it onto the Book Me Directly so that the artist can take it with them to promote places if they've not been before. That way they're linking themselves to the software and of course it gets the face out. You can.
As a venue, can we then download that poster and use it to promote the art?
Well, I'll show you the venue software in a second, sir, and yes, exactly what you're after, you can do. Right, so now we have on the left-hand side panel, so we're moving in a logical order so it can keep me in check. But on the far left-hand side, we have the event status panel. Now this is a list to the artist of what's coming up in their diary. Basically, we've stick to a colour code that everybody recognises. Red, there's a problem. Green, fine. Amber, it's almost. In this particular one, we're going to look at today's. So James is going to double click on the Book Me directly, because we actually say arrange this. So this is me. Montpellier is our limited company address. The location to perform at is where, if I was an artist, I've been told to turn up. Here's all the details of the actual items that have been sent, where, when, how much. We actually turn the amount into words as well, so there is no ambiguity in what you're being offered. Okay. Now we also have on here, on the booking options, we have some buttons which aren't actually lit because it doesn't apply. Accept booking and decline booking because I've already done it. It's already been accepted. We can cancel the booking if we wanted to. You've already seen remove reserve time. And we've also got the print confirmation. So James puts up the print confirmation, and it is just a repeat of exactly what's in the system. But as we've established from many, many people telling us this, there's no paper. There's no contracts. It all seems to be very much up in the air. Even on the websites, there's no paper. So we thought, let's give them. So it repeats everything in the system so the artist can print it out. If you can file it, put it wherever you want, take it with you to the venue. It doesn't make a difference. You've got a piece of paper. That way nobody can change it on you at the last minute. And it's the same the other side, which I'll show you. So we have dates, the times, where you're to go, a few bits of standard invoicing, and we also print an exact copy of the cheque, how it's been made out. Because I understand from, again, many people saying, stage name and banking name is not always the same. So again, we're trying to remove all the time any ambiguity. Now we can also, because with this system, we're not locally based, we're not just Blackpool, and I will tell you, it's 29 counties we're in as of this morning. I was praying it would be 30 just for a nice round number, but it's not. 29 counties. So when this system is working, as we've already established, people don't know about venues they've never sung in before or performed in. So we thought, Google Maps, here we go. It takes the artist's address, it takes where you want to go, we send the information to Google, it presents you with a map, including directions. Now you can view that even before you accept a booking. So if you wanted to consider, should I be going to a particular event, because it might be on the opposite side of the country, you can check. So you're not obliged to take any booking, but the more information that we can give you, the more chance you've got of accepting the booking. Right, we're going to tab over now to the venue, excuse me. Now I don't propose to go through all the buttons exactly the same because they're very similar. But this is now the venue screen. So we finished with the artist, so it's a very simple setup for them. This is the venue system. Now we've left this on, this beautifully colour-coded design, not because it's pretty, because it actually demonstrates how the system works. As a venue, again, you're on a diary and you're on a panel. We can move through the days. We can choose the date. That's the most important button. We'll be doing that in a second, creating the event, because that all hinges on that one thing. We have the venue details, which we've set up Queen's demonstration. You edit your details if you needed to, but once it's in, pretty standard items. So what we're going to demonstrate on this event status panel is that event Wednesday the 29th of February. That's what we're doing now. This event is here. All down the side panel, again, we're sticking to the same colour code system. Red, no acts booked. So if you're a venue, you can look quickly and think, right, I've got a problem with that particular event. It's in red. That means there's no artist booked, or for whatever reason, there's a problem. It draws your attention. Anything in green means, done. Forget about it. It's finished. I don't need to do anything to it. If it changes colour before the event, then you know you need to address it. So again, we're trying to keep it simple for you all. You should be able to log in, look quickly, finished, log out. We don't want you trolling through lots of dates. So what we have here is the diary panel. Thank you, James. And James is now going to do, as I say, the most important thing. We are going to create an event. There you go. So James has created this event in the system. Now we have to do this first to tell the computer what your event is. Now at this moment it's still free floating. We can move it around. We could change the size. but it's really not essential, you've just seen us doing it. But it does have some other information in there, such as, you've got the Book Me Directly name, that's the venue, where it's to be held, in this case Queen's Demonstration, the time, how many confirmed artists, how many requested artists, how many times we've altered the event. These are all things the system needs to know, but records without your interaction. It just does it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go in, I'm just going to think again, sorry. Okay, now this is basically the hub. This is the bit that does all the work for you. This is the event creation screen. You've already created the event on the system. This is what's going on in it. Only artists that appear in this section in the centre, which James will show you now, this part, which are in the category which we've changed to band, which I'll tell you why in a second, but we'll drop that list down. Every section there, every category, we have an artist in. They only get shown the categories where we have somebody in that category. So if it's empty, you're never going to come across an empty one. They're there. Now for privacy, as I'm sure some of our artists that are already realise, we've agreed with every artist that we keep them private until a venue signs up, you view it in your own venue. So we're not putting them on display, but bands are slightly different. We have clearance for everybody on there, as far as I'm concerned, to actually promote them. So we're using just the band to demonstrate. These are real artists. Now we have underneath each item, like Dogs of Gentry, 13.11 miles. The Casual Solid 6 is 13.75. We actually work on a mileage system. We've programmed in to work it round longitude and latitude. So when your venues are searching, artists in range come up. So again, you're not contacting artists from London that won't travel. What comes up in here is what they'll travel. So example of the very furthest one, the Atlantic Soul Show Band. They're over 157 miles away from this location, but for the right money they'll travel. So what you're seeing is actual live information. And if it's alright, we would like to just run through the Book Me Directly demo and we'll do a booking. We'll actually show you the system. Now for the purpose of the demonstration tonight, we can't use artist phones. We have set up 3 people that are in the room and we've moved Donna from singer to the test. So we've got myself, James and Danny. Danny is there, Donna's here. Can you all just make sure your phones are on? Because we are going to do the full test. Yeah? So what James is doing now, he's just clicked on an artist. Now we obviously know the fantastic Donna, but if you were searching for somebody to perform, you might not know them. They may be a face you've not seen. We're encouraging people to look at everybody, not just the same people you see all the time, because there are a lot of artists out there, so we presented this. We have another navigation bar. You can add them to the favourites. If you like them, you can easily find them again. Remove them, obviously. We'll cover those in a second, because we're actually going to do the booking, so we'll just demonstrate it rather than talk about it. We have the stage name. Is it mine? Tell him I'm not in. I'm going to thump him. You know who that is. He's on the way. Sorry about that. It's just the milkman. He's just checking. Okay, so we have the stage name across the top. We have the artist photo. We have the categories and style at the bottom, so you can confirm what you're looking for. We have the write-up of the artist. This is what was important about them filling in the right details at the start. We've already learned that artists that do not put a picture on, do not put a write-up on, or don't put video links, drop down the list. It's that simple, but it's nothing we can control. So we do encourage them all the time. So what James is going to do now is he's going to James is going to double-click on the internet link to demonstrate what you would be doing at your own computer. Because you don't know these artists, all of them. So it'll come up, it just goes to wherever the link is, and starts to play the video, or music, or whatever it is they've loaded, so you get information. Every venue is different. It might be that one artist will be perfect for one venue and not for another. I don't need to tell you your job, but we're just presenting you the information to let you make that decision. Thank you, James. Now, this is where we're going to do the actual test, and I'm nervous because this room apparently is not particularly very good for signal. But yeah, we should all have signal. The key thing to this system is when we offer a job to an artist, it doesn't go through anyone, it doesn't go through anything. It's dealt with by just one brain. So James is now going to do a test. We're going to first of all send an offer of work So we're going to send an offer. Now we use £100 because it's easy for me to work out. Not that I'm fake, but it's easy. So £100, one spot to Donna. So simple click, I like this artist, let's book them. Standard term and conditions just to confirm exactly what's going on, and then agree to book or offer. Now that removes Donna from the screen. There we go. She's missing from the list now because, as James will demonstrate, we've made an offer. So the artist can't be offered again while there's a pending offer outstanding. So if we go back to artist to choose from, James, now we're going to show a little bit more because it's not just one. I had to think about this, of how best to cope with it, and I understand from what I'm told, one artist may not be enough to offer a choice to. You may want to offer 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 artists at a go, and whoever comes back first is the one that gets the job. That makes the venue's life easier from a point of view of booking people. There's no point booking one, waiting, and then not getting an answer. So what James is doing now, he's offering, I wish. So he's booking now, so he's now picking on me. I'm offering 120 for 3 spots, that's what he thinks of me. And again, he's doing agree to book or offer. Now I could have viewed all the details, but we don't need to, so I've gone now again. And again, we're going to go through all 4. Now also praying the phones will ring. So it's picking to James now. And again, please. I don't know whether you all heard that, but that's my phone. So that's taken straight from a computer, through the system, to the exact artist you want. Nobody in between, no delays, that's it. Now again, I'll ask, if anybody's got a system that does this, I haven't seen it, and I've spent a lot of time designing this, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, I assume from your question you have a venue. May I show you this? Don't worry, I'm not going to take your watch or anything. Right, what we have on here is Programming Neil, that was my stage name. A request by Book Me Directly at Queen's Hotel Promenade in Room Queen's demonstration on March the 6th, 2012, 8 o'clock. £120, reply 68156 to accept. That's it. That's exactly from that to this. I feel like I'm like Paul Daniels actually. So what James is going to do now is he's going to go back to the main screen. And you can see on the event panel now, so I'll have to leave this side. We actually have, as I'll indicate, there's no confirmed artist yet. We've requested 4, we've made alterations to it, and we've viewed 4 people. The system records all this for research, so we know whether or not the system's being used correctly, or whether we need to change something. It'll also be used later on to feed back to the artist to let them know whether anybody's looking at them, because that's the sort of information they want. Now, can I just check? Danny? Yeah? So Danny has a message. Oh dear. Right, well we've got so we've got a message from James, we've got a message to Danny, we've got a message to me. Now if this was a real working system and I was booking somebody, that's a perfect possibility. They might not have the phone with them, they may have left it at home, but either way what we're going to do is we're going to do the bit that should work. So I have enough signal, I am going to, in fact I'll do this again back here for me. So I'm going to take that code, 68156. 68156, there you go. Send it. So if I know an artist and I'm thinking, yes, I don't even need to look that up. I'd like to take that job, that's as simple as it's done. Now, in a second, the system will try and work out what that was connected to, which artist from which booking, and if it just goes to today, James, make sure. If you have a look on the screen, point to it, James, confirmed artist 1. Now I'm getting 2 messages here because this is also the venue phone, but again, if it's alright, I'll show you. Sorry, your name is? Guy. Thank you, Guy. So, now the message has changed. Programming Neil, you have been booked by Book Me Directly. This is the confirmation. Now there's no message to reply, I don't need to reply. I can go and check in the diary. And as a venue, I also get in here. Just go up. See that? Book Me Directly. That's the venue. So one's gone to the venue to say it's been booked, so you can leave the system, you can wander off, do whatever you're doing, day-to-day chores. If someone confirms, you know about it. There's no waiting for a telephone call, it does it for you. So, as an artist, I received a message. and as a venue, I received a message. So everybody's notified, and it's all done by the system. Now we're going to mess around with the system a little bit now, because this is where the brain actually takes over. Wait there, James, come back. As you can see, because Donna, James and Danny didn't answer the text, they're back available to this venue for this job. If James now moves over, you'll see it's elevated me to booked, and it's rescinded the other 3 because they can't take the job. It's filled. Now we've set it at the moment, actually on the top, 1 artist only in 1 category for the purpose of the demonstration. But you could have many artists, but for this to show it off, we did it this way. Because now we're going to be cruel to it. I know what everybody says. What if they cancel? I've heard that phrase must be 5 times a day at one point when we're writing the system. What if they cancel? So let's cancel it. So James is going to tab back now to me. Here's the venue, the booking that we've actually done. But if you go into it, please, James. So you can see this is what we accepted via the phone. We didn't go back to the computer. The artist can actually accept via the phone. But we're going to mess it around. We've accepted it, but now we're going to cancel it. This is an artist cancelling. This is obviously your worst case scenario. I know that none of you like to receive a cancellation, but this is how the system copes with it. So it's going to cancel the booking. It warns the artist, because obviously every time they cancel something, it's a bad mark against them. Not in the system, but chances of you booking somebody again if they've already let you down is something that you all consider. So James will actually cancel this item now. Okay, cancelled. Gone. I'm not doing that job anymore. Now at this point, there's nothing. It doesn't message anything, it doesn't do anything, because there's nothing it needs to do. James will now tab back to the venue software, and he will just go to today to make sure it's working. Okay, confirmed artist 0, requested artist has jumped back to 3. Finally. Welcome to the 21st century. Right, James, go back into the pending completion, because what it's done, you notice all the artists have gone again. What it's done is it's taken the cancellation and it's thought about it. It's actually decided that, hang on, you offered it to 3 other people. They're all still available, so I'll re-offer the job for you. It takes over. It's actually got a physical way of working out what's going on. So the job of running a venue for artists is trying to compensate all the time. The only time you get a message, but we could change it if necessary, is if everybody cancelled the job after accepting it. If you ran out, the system will tell you you've run out, you've got to do something. But now, these jobs have been resent to the artists. Now because we've resent them, they're not back on the panel, so we haven't got anything accepted. So we're going to, hopefully, I think we'll go with Danny, because it took less time to get the message through. Close out please, James. You can see, for this, it's gone back to red on March on the far side, if you'd just like to indicate, please. It's gone back to red at the bottom because there's nobody booked. It's telling you, I've got a problem, deal with it. So when Danny sends this message through, because it's been resent, he's got a brand new message for the cancellation. He's not living on the old message, it's sent a new one. Refresh. Right, now my phone's just gone off because again, I'm the venue. I'll come over again in a second. Danny has accepted the job, and if James goes back inside to the event, artists are back. Danny has now accepted. I'm cancelled. Donna and James have been rejected because they didn't answer in time. And again, anybody seen anything like this before? This has spent a lot of time trying to get this right and make it as easy as possible for everyone to use. This will continue going until it runs out of answers. It'll just continue trying and trying and trying, so it tries to pick up the slack. Now if I just go over and show you again that we have actually got on here. Right, so what you can see there, book me directly, photographer Phillips has accepted all the same details. Now, because Danny has taken it, you're still covered, you've still got your event covered, you've already agreed the rate in the first place you're prepared to offer, it's dealt with it all for you. So what we can do now, because I think we're finished with that, we're actually going to show what bits and pieces you can print. Obviously when you've confirmed an artist, we can print the contract. Now the artist should be printing their own contract to bring with them, so they know exactly what they're doing. But to be on the safe side, we put it the other way as well. So the venue can print the contract. Again, same details, just laid out a little differently. We thought we'd put the photograph on. It wasn't so much for fun, just to make sure you know who's turning up. Standard terms underneath, and again, a copy of the cheque and how it's made out. In the case of this, it's Photography Phillips, but his cheque is paid Mr. Daniel Phillips. Again, so there's no ambiguity. You can print that out in somebody's book, you can go and give it to accounts or whoever does your checks and say, if paid by cheque, make sure this is ready on the night. There's no problems, it makes it simple. We can also print a poster. Now we only have two, and we'll just show the one for the moment. But again, we're open to suggestion of how you'd like it, because we do know people want to put posters up to tell the public who's turning up. So in the case of this, again, book me directly, their picture, when they're turning up, but this is something that we're just waiting for people to tell us what they want it to look like. These are all things that can be changed. It's just a basic poster at the moment, but we'll do anything that people would like to send us. Okay? Now the last thing you need to do, because this is the thing the system cannot do for you, even though it's booked, and even though these artists have been rescinded, the system will not automatically say it's finished. It's not something it can do. We thought we'd best leave that to the venue. You're the only ones to say you've printed your contracts, you've printed your posters, everything's right. So the last thing to do is to mark this event as ready to go. And it's just confirming, it's just saying that your last thing, are you sure you've done everything? Because once you click yes, you can always go back in, you can always change it, but once you go and click yes, James will now show you, the booking has gone to green, it's finished, the booking in your future events is green. You don't need to be concerned with it. The only time you need to be concerned with that now is if it changes to amber or to red. And for the final thing I think we have on here, if, and it has happened, you find something in the system that is wrong, needs changing, modifying, and I know there's several people in here over that area, and a few more at the back, who have sent us changes, and we have changed the system. But you can mark down if it's an error, something missing, even something as simple as spelling, or something you want. You can indicate how important it is, send us some information about it, and it will get dealt with. I have people in the room that can confirm we've dealt with them very quickly when there's been a problem. Just making it easy to make sure that if something's not right for you, we'll change it. And I think that is more or less it for the demonstration. And if anybody has got any questions, I'll be more than happy to attempt to answer them for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Master of Software, Mr. Neil Waring. Thank you very much. If everybody, is a bit shy to ask questions, there are some cards and contact numbers on the tables if you're a bit shy to ask any questions tonight, and you can contact us. So thank you very much for your patience, those of you who were actually interested in the demonstration. It is something, as I say, that is not found anywhere else. In a few moments now we will continue with the show. The artists are ready to go. Actually, I've just got one more thing to say that I didn't have time to say earlier. Book Me Directly actually support Donna's Dream House. And there is a little raffle prize here. One of my friends, Craig, he's offered, he's coming round with the raffle tickets, and it will be £1 a strip, and it will be drawn as soon as all the tickets are sold. There's not too many left. So thank you very much indeed. I'll hand you back to Neil.
Sorry, I forgot something. The most important thing of all. The price. It's free. The software is free. You go to the website, which James will tab back to. Unless he's closed it. Oh, he's closed it, never mind then. Well, bookmedirectly.com, right here. I'm sure it's big enough, even for me. Just go to the website, download the software, it's free. So if you're an artist, you go straight on, if you're a venue, straight on also. We will verify that the venue in question who downloads it is who they say they are. Again, just for making sure the system's working right. But the other thing about running it, you pay the artist on the night, and it's a £10 flat rate booking fee. Not a percentage, not sliding scale, it's £10. If you book a £1,000 artist, it's £10. Because there's no person involved in doing the bit in the middle, the system's doing it. It's just all it is £10 booking fee. So you can hopefully control who you have and how much you pay. It's down to yourself. We're never ever going to take any money off the artists, ever. That is a promise. We're not going to do that. That's the whole point of booking directly. Just pay on the night, just as you would do. You sign when you hand the money over on the contract to say you received it. That goes into your accounts. You're all sorted. 10 penny. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. I forgot about that. It's free. Where'd you get anything for free nowadays? We want to keep this entertainment industry as professional as possible, ladies and gentlemen. And I, for one, and those who know me personally, you know that I have a passion for my industry. I love to sing. And I know that we have lots and lots of people in and around the country who only want to entertain. And there's a fabulous show coming up in a few moments. Thank you. Thank you, Neil.